Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Okay, wait. What's your ISBN on the back?
The what?
The ISBN. Numbers that tell you what.
9798212895194.
It's the same book, dude. You're just missing 10 pages. We have
I'm
the
not
same
missing
book.
any pages. No, I'm not missing pages.
We have
It's just
we
different.
have more pages than you. We have the same ISBN. You know what that means?
Next time, I guess we'll just do a popcorn reading and see if I'm actually missing anything. I'm not missing anything.
You got the
Because I
liberal
think
abridged
you-
version.
No, because we just
Took out all the killing.
We determined the last time that you had 10 pages less than me, and I'm already 10 pages ahead, which means we've already read the part that you missed.
40.
No,
Weird.
that doesn't mean that.
Yeah, it does.
That's not how that works. That means my book is a different size. But just ever so slightly.
Yeah. All right.
How many pages do you have total?
I got my Stella.
That was chocolate
Nice.
milk that I put an Oreo in.
A man of culture.
Quite yummy.
I have 693 pages.
693?
I have
I also have
673.
693.
73? Oh, dude.
Yeah, 673.
We have another 10
Mission
pages.
20 pages. Yeah.
What are you missing? You're
trying-
missing an entire chapter, maybe. Maybe chapter 15 is different. Or 14 is different for you, because chapter 14 is...
Ishan, the words are going to be the exact same. I
wonder
guarantee
if you
you
just got a
that
little,
it's
like-
just...
Do you have a
The
ruler?
size?
Ishan, or Christian, do you have a ruler?
Yeah, dude. Bust out the ruler. I want to see if this is
yeah, hold
missing. Maybe it is a different size.
It's not. I swear, there is no way that it's a different print. It's definitely that is just like slightly different sizing, like font or page or whatever. Like it's not. It's
Maybe your
like
font
that's
is
what I'm saying.
like the
It's not
size
missing.
Maybe
It's
your
it
font-
might be like. It's probably just a different print run, honestly. And
My
it's
book
like,
is 5.5
I don't know why
by
they do that.
8.5 inches.
5.5 by 8.5. It's pretty big, dude.
Yeah, 8.5 exactly.
Christian, measure up. How much is yours?
Yours is 5.5. Mine's 5.25.
What the?
Oh my god, yours is just a quarter-inch short.
I don't know. Wait, let's open your book and let me see the pages.
I don't know, dude. Mine's like...
It's like very easy to read.
Yeah, so is mine.
Yours is smaller.
Oh,
Your
it's-
text is small. Your text is small.
I think my margins, look at the margins on the side. They're smaller than yours.
They're small. Yeah, the margins are small.
It's just a different print.
Just
I
a
got-
slightly
I
different
got
printing.
thick-ass paragraphs.
Anyway, now that we've come
I
to the
just got-
bottom of the mystery.
That should have been the podcast.
I'm always coming in the bottom.
Sizing up.
What'd you say, Christian?
Christian said he's always coming.
Nothing.
Yeah,
I
what?
didn't say
Good
anything.
lord.
Are you drinking a McFlurry, dude? Oh no, it's ready.
No.
Yeah. Cali boy with a
Alright,
Stanley
this
Cup.
isn't sponsored. I can't do it.
Redwood
He's got his-
Trust. Wow, holy shit, they
It's from-
gave you a fucking Stanley.
He's got his big dumb cup.
It's from my company. It's also on my AirPods. That say Redwood Trust.
That's tight.
I've gotten cashed out.
That's cool.
Can you see? Wait, how low can you see on me?
Just your t-shirt.
I can see the book.
Okay. Oh, you can see I can't even see the book.
Yeah.
I was doing hand signals down here, doing gang signs. I was hoping
Uh-oh.
nobody would see
I'm
that.
gonna have to blur that out. Anyway, so we read from page 140 something to page 281. unless you have the Christian version where you're at 273.
Mhm.
We stopped at chapter 14. So, what has happened in the last 140 pages?
He
Quite a
left
bit.
the village.
Good.
He was forced to leave the village.
So, Yabu, the daimyo, was just celebrating his victory where he tortured some barbarians, cooked a guy alive, went back to the crib, listened to the guy get cooked alive while thinking about poetry, got jacked off, went to sleep, woke up next day, and his plan was, I'm going to run back to the capital before my boss even notices that I was gone because he told me not to leave. And then that next morning, he's walking out and he sees a ship with his boss's flag on it entering the harbor. And he's like, fuck. This is bad. And then his boss's like number one advisor gets off, says, what the fuck are you doing? And Yabu tried to be like, oh yeah, I was just like checking out the ship for my master. I was going to give him all this stuff. And they're like, we're going to take all this stuff. And he's like, no, it's a gift. And then
It's a gift.
They also take the head barbarian guy. Like, these dudes knew all about it.
Blackthorn.
His boss's... Yabu's boss's guy knew all this shit. Like, he knew
Yabu's boss, his name is Toranaga.
Toranaga Habu or something like that.
And Toda Hiromatsu is his right-hand man. So Hiromatsu showed up and was like, Yabu, give me the boat. Or like, what's up with this boat, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Yabu's like, it's totally a gift for
Yeah, the big fella.
what's his name?
Taranga.
Taranga.
Yeah.
Have you been reading a Taranga?
Yeah. Taranga.
Oh, you do Taranga?
I've been saying Toranaga.
Then what? Is it Toranaga or is it Taranga?
I thought it was
Have I just
Taranga.
been reading it wrong?
Toranaga.
Oh my god, it is Toranaga. Fuck.
Oh my god, it is
You guys been reading
Toranaga.
Toranaga.
Yeah, it's Toranaga. But you're right, it's Toranaga.
So
It's okay. I'm just more into Japan than you guys are.
Toranaga
Whoa.
sent his boy down there, and he knew everything, which told Yabu that there's a spy amongst his guys, because he was only down there for a couple days, but then somehow his big boss knew everything. So somebody was sending some shit back. He wants to take Blackthorn, head barbarian, back to the capital and talk to him, basically. Blackthorn, I can't remember, but he wasn't even really that... He was kind of hesitant to leave the boys, but he said, one thing at a time. If I do this, maybe I can win everybody's freedom. Just got to cooperate. So he was cool with it.
Yeah.
Gets on the ship.
And I think they also said like they're gonna let everybody out of the pit now.
I think that's right.
Go.
Yeah,
so
they
all
said it
the
was gonna be
boys
better.
can like chill.
Gets on the ship. Cool ass Portuguese sailor Rodriguez. This guy was tight.
Sick. I like Rodriguez.
He
He's suave. He's slick. He's smooth. You know, they instantly bond because they're both captains. They're just chatting, shooting the shit. But, you know, there's always this undertone of, like, the author is always giving us an insight into all the characters' heads. So he'll do, like, you know, character one is thinking this and concealing this information that he has relative to this conversation.
Right.
And he does this all throughout it. Like, when Hiro was talking to Yabu, one of the things that Hiro did was not give up the information that he knew everything about it, because he knew literally everything. He knew how many cannons were there. He knew how many muskets were there.
Right.
He knew how many silver doubloons. But he purposefully did not say, like, imply that he knew everything to keep some like informational distance from it.
Yeah, he had to like
and
catch
try
himself.
to not expose it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
from not just immediately revealing that he knew everything.
Yeah, and Rodriguez and Blackthorn were kind of doing the same thing, because Blackthorn and Rodriguez are on opposite sides of a conflict where it's like the Portuguese and the English, where Rodriguez is kind of trying to figure out, like, where'd you get the rudder? And Blackthorn is keeping up the lie about, having a fleet of a bunch of ships and, like, more people going to attack Manila and all this stuff. And they're it's always playing, like, psychological chess. But Blackthorn and Rodriguez definitely have, like, this mutual respect for each other because they are pilots.
Right.
Which I like. I like their relationship a lot.
Yeah, dude.
I'm getting destroyed.
Game of Thrones.
So
yeah, it was kind of weird because they were definitely like, I don't know, kind of bros, but had to be, I don't know, reclusive with all this shit. But I don't know. It was weird. It was like our countries are at war. Are we really? Whatever. They were both patriotic about it. It was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it was very much like it seemed very friendly, but like we kind of have to be enemies because we're from these different places, but you're cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of how I felt. And I liked Rodriguez. He's a smooth talker. He's teaching Blackthorn a bunch of stuff about how to talk to the Japanese.
Yeah. Basically just act like a fucking king and they'll respect you. They don't have the nuts to tell you no. If you act like you're better than them, they think you're better than them.
Mm-hmm. Just make commands and they'll follow unless they're in a bad mood, and then you might die.
Yeah, worth a shot.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can continue with your summary.
Did you guys know that the Portuguese introduced tempura to Japan?
Really?
I did not. I did find that out.
I don't know.
Badass.
Tokyo Vice.
Ishan, I need your video to be on or it fucks up the whole recording. There we go.
Okay, I'm back. Don't worry.
Dangerous.
I don't know. What, if I multitask, it gets rid of my camera?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
He's grinding.
Grinding, dude. I've been working a lot. I worked like 12 hours today.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
No, it's fine.
Where were we in the story?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's speed up. They're on the boat.
Get some on the boat.
They're on the boat.
Yep.
They're chatting and they're like rizzing each other up, and it's like a cute moment because Blackthorn is finally like in his element, and then Storm comes, and then Rodriguez gets blown off, and I thought he died there. I thought they just killed him off. I was like, oh shit.
It seemed like it because they're like, he can't swim. He threw him like a life raft or something, some wooden thing that would float.
Yeah.
Missed him, or it got swept away by the storm. And then we saw Rodriguez holding on to an oar, like that was floating in the water.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, how long can he survive? And I think like he got swept away after that too, and he disappeared under the sea. So it was heavily implied that he was dead. But then,
fuck! I just fucked something up so
out of the
bad.
storm.
Sorry.
What are you doing?
Put a crazy filter on me.
They just said
Okay.
they made Harbor, but without Rodriguez, he was washed overboard when his lifeline snapped, and then they brought him back like 15 pages later.
Yeah, that freaked me out too.
Yeah.
It was like super all of a sudden. They were going through this wicked storm. So Hiramatsu is bringing Yabu all of the shit they took off the Erasmus, which was Blackthorn's ship, and Blackthorn back to Yedo? Question mark? Capital city or something like that, or wherever Toranaga's at right now.
Osaka.
Okay, they're going back to Osaka. They get hit by this massive ass storm, and then Rodriguez basically gives Blackthorn the helm and says, "Get us in. I'm gonna go up to the front and look at shit." And then that was the last page as Rodriguez heads to the front and says, "Blackthorn, you got this." And then the next line is Rodriguez is gone.
Rodriguez was swept over.
Rodriguez is dead.
Swept over.
Dude.
Yeah. But then Blackthorn pilots them out of the storm,
Mhm.
gets them, to a safer area. There's kind of a rocky coast. And Rodriguez starts talking to Hiro and Yabu and is like, we're going to find, like, we need to look for his body. I need to look for his body. I owe him that respect. And I want to bury him and bring him back. So we're going to go aboard onto the coast over here where he's probably swept up. And we're going to search for him. Yeah. And Hiro and Yabu they have a side conversation in Japanese, so Blackthorn can't hear, and they're kind of talking about it. And I'm like, we're responsible for his safety. We can't let him go over there. Weather's still bad. It's dangerous. It's rocky cliffs. A lot could happen. We can't do that. And then they're like, but we need to get to Osaka, and the only person that can get us to Osaka is Blackthorn. Mm-hmm. So we need to keep him on our good side. So they come to the conclusion that we're going to let him go, and we're going to send, a convoy with him. We're going to send people with him to protect him. So they do that. They get on the coast with, a bunch of samurai following him, and Yabu is also going on the coast with him to personally protect Blackthorn. Mm-hmm. And then they all walk along the coast. They're scanning the rocky waters below the cliff. I think it's 50, 60 feet down.
Sounded like it.
And they spot him. They spot Rodriguez's body, or at least what they thought was his body, until they see him move and breathe. And then they all kick into the action. They're like, what do we do? We have to get down there. And, of course, Blackthorn being Blackthorn, he wants to go down there and save him himself, but he also sees this as an opportunity. And he knows that they're not going to let him go down there. Like, the samurai are not going to let him because they're responsible for his safety. So he challenges Yabu to climb down and retrieve Rodriguez.
Yeah, you won't go. You won't climb these rocks. You won't go down there. You fucking pussy. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, basically. That was wild.
He freaking shears off all of his fingernails and his toes, his toenails.
Yeah.
He hurts his ankle real bad.
Yeah. Yeah, he makes it halfway, 3/4, and then just eats shit and follows the rest.
He went 3/4 and then he ate shit. He slipped.
But the only reason he ate shit was because the rocks crumbled. He was making it down. Bro was a climber.
Yeah, he was actually
he used to climb the mountains. Yeah. So he was sick at it. And he was doing all this in socks.
Just socks.
Little toe socks.
Just socks. Yeah, and it was wasn't it pouring out too, so all the rocks were wet and bad weather. There was the sea coming up, bunch of shit going on. But he makes it down alive. And he gets Rodriguez out of the water to safety, and they notice the tide's coming in. And it's coming in quickly, so the water's raising. And Yabu sees this and looks around for outcroppings or anything like that, sees nothing, and basically says, I'm going to die with peace and honor, and starts meditating. And just sits there ready for death. That was insane.
Yeah, he was just okay, I'm going to die.
Yeah, accepted.
And up top where Blackthorn is, everybody is scrambling. It's what the fuck do we do? Our master is down there. He's going to die. He's already committing himself to death. Rodriguez is going to die. What do we do? And so they're stopping Blackthorn from looking over the edge. All the samurai are having a little side conversation, and all of a sudden, one of them just screams "Bonsai" and jumps off the edge. Okay, so actually, backing up, important context. Before, they couldn't find an outcropping. They didn't see any point of safety. But up top, Samurai and Blackthorn had spotted an outcropping that was hard to see. And they were all yelling down at Yabu, but he was already so deep in his meditation that he was not waking up. He was not responding to anything. Yeah. So one of his men yells "Bonsai" and jumps off the edge. Close to him,
just sacrifice himself.
Gets out of his trance.
Yeah.
Yeah, just sacrifices himself, kills himself, jumps on the rocks. He's dead instantly. And Yabu wakes up. And they point out the outcropping to him, and Yabu brings Rodriguez's body over there, and it's a 1 foot wide outcropping, and they're struggling to stay on it. But Yabu goes beast mode and just keeps them both alive and keeps them on this outcropping.
Yeah, he grounds.
Until some guys come back with some ropes and they get him back up. And that entire sequence was crazy.
It was nuts. All just because he questioned his honor. He took that and then had to fulfill the duty even though it was ordered by somebody he fucking hated, really. But then Blackthorn kind of had respect for Yabu after that. He was like, I hate this guy, but that was pretty chill.
Yeah, so this whole chapter was like a building of mutual respect between Blackthorn and Yabu, because Blackthorn piloted them all to safety.
Yep.
And was the only one that could do that.
Yeah, they thought that was
even
crazy.
had the ability to do that. So they highly respected him for that. And then Yabu does this insane stunt and saves Rodriguez, who Blackthorn is close with now. And that gains a lot of respect from Blackthorn to Yabu.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Then,
so I really enjoyed that chapter.
Yeah, no, that was tight. That was very, very cool. They thought Blackthorn was like a fucking demon out there during the storm, piloting the ship in, and that was pretty hard. But then once they're back,
he's just in his element.
What the fuck is the guy's name again?
Which guy?
The Hashirama. That's from Naruto.
Hiramatsu.
Yeah, Hiramatsu.
Hiramatsu?
Yeah, Hiramatsu.
They take everybody off, and they're seeing how big the fucking city is. Rodriguez was talking to Blackthorn in the cabin a little bit, talking about how, asking him if he was lying about the fleet of ships that Rodriguez said, or that Blackthorn said were just behind them, coming like around Asia coast. And he was like, Rodriguez was talking about how there's millions and millions of people in Japan, like millions more just in Japan than they thought were in all of Europe combined or something like that. And he was like, if they're all these fucking hard-ass samurai, no one in the world stands a chance. Like, this is insane.
Yeah, if they get ships. Yeah.
So
they're scared. Because they said something like the population in Japan is like 3 times of that in Europe.
Right. And so he was saying the same about China, too.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, yeah, there's even more on mainland China. So this is like when they're walking into Osaka, right? And they're seeing all of this, and he's seeing the castle walls, and he's like, oh, this is like a really, like, these are major cities.
Yeah.
These are big civilizations and societies. It's not just these little fishing villages that I saw before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they bring him in. He's amazed by all this shit. And really, Toranaga wants to meet with him immediately. Like, they're bringing that dude now. And so they walk him up through this entire city. It's like miles long, crazy roads through massive castle walls, over moats, all this shit. He keeps seeing that they maybe don't have the firepower or whatever, and he's thinking about how he would siege a place like this, but he's like, I don't know if it's possible.
It's not possible.
Yeah, these guys are fucking crazy. But yeah, they get him all the way in, and he has to talk to Toranaga, who is one of the Council of Regents, who is like 4 or something guys who were sworn to the Taiko, who was like the previous shogun, like the previous top dog appointed by the emperor. And he died, and to his son, he like made these 4 or 5 guys promise to like protect the realm until his son was of age to be able to take it over again. And so that's who Toranaga is. So he owns, like a shitload of people.
Yeah,
like he's one of the top 4 guys.
Yeah, there's 5 guys on the Board of Regents. I
5,
think.
Yeah, there you go.
And they're the 5 top daimyos of Japan. So they basically are responsible for like a fifth of Japan each.
So wait, who is?
Yeah, they're the top dogs.
It's Toranaga and it's Ishido. Those are the main 2.
Those are the 2 important ones right now.
Lord Onoshi is Christian and a cripple, and his flesh is rotten.
Oh, I thought you meant he is Christian, like he's Christian, our friend Christian.
Lord Sugiyama is the richest daimyo, and Lord Kiyama is also a Christian. So there are 2 Christian ones.
Yeah.
And there's this there was this weird thing where they were like, oh, well, Toranaga is more like hates Christians, or like they both hate them, but one of them is gonna like be more lenient towards them. I was confused.
Yeah, so it's a lot of political talk there, and something that was going on is like Toranaga and Ishido are the 2 like top dogs of the top dogs, at least like military wise. I think they have the most strength, they have the most might, they have the most influence, despite one of the guys being richer. The richness doesn't really matter in this, not nearly as much. So Toranaga and Ishido are kind of leading like clashing factions, and they both played it where on the Board of Regents there's always been a 2-3 split either way, so it's never been like a majority going one way or a majority going another way. And I think Toranaga has played more towards the Christians despite him not liking them. He was more favorable to them in the past, whereas Ishido was very like anti-Christian. I want the Portuguese out. I want like this religion gone from my land,
Yeah,
which I think caused a little bit of disruption between him and the two Christian daimyos.
But we don't really know that until
moving,
after this interview.
Yeah.
They're moving to
Did you find
Ishido.
that out either? Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's what happened after that.
Let's talk about the interview first, but yeah, that happens after the interview. So they interview Blackthorn, or Toranaga interviews Blackthorn, and I mean, kind of straightforward. It's just like Blackthorn telling the same story he's told before, and realizing how much of a top dog Toranaga is and how scary he is, pretty much. And then there's this other Portuguese guy. He's not part of the church, right? He's kind of something else, but he's like the most knowledgeable European person about Japan because he's so close to the top dogs, and he's just acting as an interpreter, and he speaks like basically perfect Japanese.
Yep.
So he's translating what Toranaga is saying as he's saying it to Blackthorn and going back the other way. And this is a little bit different. Before, there was the father, the Portuguese guy that was translating. He was kind of twisting the words, and he was also shitty at Japanese. But with this guy, Peter something, he's perfect at Japanese. And before the conversation to Toranaga, he's like, I don't need to twist your words. You're going to do it yourself. Like, you're going to cause your own death in this case. So I don't need to do anything. It was kind of what he said to Blackthorn before he started translating between Toranaga. And then there's more drama that happens.
Blackthorn basically just fails to riz Toranaga, and Toranaga gets really angry, and then they basically just like send him to the dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ishido walks in. Like, the conversation's interrupted because Ishido's waiting outside. And then everyone's like, oh, fuck. Like, now this other guy's here, and I'm super pissed. And then, I forget what happens after that.
Yeah, they basically shit-talk each other for a little bit. And then Ishido's whole plan was that he was going to get in here, talk shit to Toranaga for a while, say some like fucked up stuff that he was going to kill him or whatever. He's going to take all this stuff or accuse him of being like a traitor, and then basically count on one of Toranaga's dudes jumping at him in a fit of rage and cutting his head off, and then basically then it would allow the other daimyos to go to direct war with Toranaga and come and fuck him up. So Ishido was willing to completely sacrifice himself just to fuck this guy up. He hates him so much. And
yeah, that's
it almost works perfectly. He told all his boys, like, don't defend me, just let him cut my head off, like, let him kill me. And the dude, like, one of Toranaga's guys pulls out his sword, and he's jumping at him. He's ready to like cut his head off, but then he stops. He's like, I'm sorry, but you like insulted my lord, like, that's fucked up. And then Toranaga was like, how did you take any of that as an insult? He had to be, whatever, for the honor. He's like, how did you take any of that as insult? Like, you should be completely ashamed. And the guy was like, yeah, let me commit seppuku right now. And he's like, no, that's for samurai. You're going to be crucified, and we're going to stamp out your name, and like, we're going to hang your head on a spike. Like, you're done. You're completely done. And I guess this guy was like the nephew or like the son of Hashirama. What the fuck is the guy's name? Hiromatsu. It was like his son, like his fifth son or something like that. And Hiromatsu was like, yeah, dude, you're done. And he tried to walk out. Do you have a cockroach on your desk?
little tiny fucker.
Get him.
Keep going.
But Hiramatsu, to his fifth son, he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna go kill you. We're gonna kill you, dog." And his son like tries to stand up and walk out, and he's like, "No, walking is for men. You are an animal. Crawl to your death." It's like, damn, bro.
Oh, okay.
All for honor. That's your son.
Damn, bro.
That was intense.
Yeah.
That
That
was
shit
very
was
intense.
crazy. But like during that conversation too, like Ishido basically pulled the card of like, oh, I have the trump card. Like I have everybody against you now. Like
Yeah.
there's a 4-1 vote against you,
Yeah, I succeeded.
and everybody's on my side. So you're fucked, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna do exactly what I say. And then he insulted him to try to, get his plan. But basically, Tarong was like, what happened? Like I had both of the Christian daimyos on my side. What is going on? And that's kind of like we haven't found that out yet because we haven't read that far. But he's thinking, and him and Hiramatsu have conversations afterwards. But there's a lot of politics going on right now. A lot of politics because there's the whole like there's like the queen that's in Yedo. Yedo, I believe, is where Toranaga. That's like his city. That's his capital.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So like the queen is like in Yedo right now, and they're like, you got to send the queen back. And he's like, I can't send the queen back. I'm not like holding her. Like she is doing this of her own will. I can't command her back.
Right.
And there's like a big debate about that. So I don't know what exactly her importance is politically, but she definitely plays some big role. Otherwise, they wouldn't care about her so much. So, but then we also see like Hiramatsu offers to also kill himself because his family brought shame to Toranaga.
Yep.
And Toranaga basically says like, no, I don't need needless death.
Yeah.
Like you are very useful to me. You're very valuable to me. You're not going to kill yourself. You're gonna do your job. That's what you're going to do. And he also does not let the samurai's wife kill herself either. She's like 17. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, she'll get another husband.
Yeah.
We'll find a place for her. She doesn't need to kill herself needlessly either.
Yeah. Break up with your high school boyfriend. Commit seppuku. I guess it's a little worse than that. Your high school boyfriend was literally crucified and had his head displayed on the school grounds. You might want to kill yourself, but yeah.
Way worse. Way worse.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like the synopsis of what's happened in the book so far. So,
yeah.
What do we think about it?
Blackthorn's in the fucking
some
dungeon.
Thoughts on it. But.
I think, I don't know. I still think Blackthorn's going to be like another Taiko type beat. I think somebody here pretty soon. Because one of them said it. I think Toranaga said it at the end of one of the chapters. He said, like in his mind, the Blackthorn will never leave Japan again. Like he is part of the country now, or something like that. Like he's part of the nation.
Mm.
And so I think
interesting.
Blackthorn is going to be the next Taiko. Somebody's going to give him badass training. I don't know who it's going to be. Maybe he meets some dude in the jail, or for some reason, like Yabu sends him for training or some bullshit like that. But somebody's going to hook him up. I don't know who it's going to be. That's really my only prediction right now. I don't know what the hell else. The politics and stuff is all pretty sweet. I can't really speak to what's actually going to happen with all that. It seems like Toranaga wanted to almost make a big play where he was starting to send a bunch of doves and shit out to say, like, start rallying the troops. Like, it's almost go time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it could be full-scale civil war here.
Yeah. I think there's definitely going to be a war. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about what's going to happen with Blackthorn because I agree that he's definitely going to assimilate to the Japanese like society and system, but I don't know to what degree and to what motives. Because like for him to reach the status of like Taiko or Shogun, as the book implies, that's a lot. Like he's got to be like heavily invested, but he's got like a family at home.
Right.
He's got like a mission to complete. And he's got men to watch out for, so I'm curious what's going to happen and if we're going to see him like turn on his, former country and men and really just lean into Japan and the Japanese society and, assimilate, like rise to the rank of like daimyo or shogun or taiko or whatever it is, or if maybe he's going to be like an instrumental factor in somebody else's rise, like Yabu. Because I could see that happening too. Because what I could see is like we get to a situation where war happens, Blackthorn can kind of escape in the craziness of war, but he still wants to watch out for his men, and now he has some relationship formed with other samurai. So he has some stake, so he can start to choose which side he's going to fight for without being maybe the main guy. But he has all this knowledge of the sea, so if he can get ships and boats and all this stuff, then he can do a lot of damage to these cities, the coastal cities especially.
He could be like a
lot of power, and he can be. Sorry, say that again.
He could be like a pirate warlord, badass pirate guy. That would be sick, actually.
Yeah, so that's I kind of more see him going into the pirate warlord trader route than like the going full on, Last Samurai mode.
I guess I can still get down with that.
That's my prediction. But I could see it going either way.
As long as the white boys are beasting. What do you think, Sean?
So
Yeah, I think it's one of those two. I don't know. We'll see.
Come on, man, give us something.
yeah, give us more than that.
No, it's been cool so far. I'm just enjoying it. We'll see where it goes. I really don't know, but I'm happy.
What's your favorite part of this?
Bro got called on during the Socratic seminar.
Dude, now I'm bugging out.
Oh yeah, you got roaches, bro.
Sean's like, fuck, I forgot to read the Spark Notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's roached out.
No, it's cool. I haven't read a book like this in a while. It's very Game of Thrones, so it's nice. Very interesting.
Yeah, but compared to Game of Thrones, this is like way easier to read.
Yeah,
like Game of Thrones,
a little lost in the names and everyone's relation to each other and like what happened 50 years ago and all that stuff.
I wonder what people thought of this, like when this came out. I feel like when I think of the shit that this is talking about, I just think of like I've seen enough movies or TV shows or whatever to know what like feudal Japan is supposed to look like. But I feel like the average dude in 1970 probably didn't have all that shit to go off of. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I was reading some threads on that, and like this book was one of the major factors that like brought Japanese culture and society to the U.S. and to the Western world. Like,
oh, really?
It was it was like whenever this book was written, like 1970. Like this sparked huge interest in Japanese culture from the West, because I think before this, like people's familiarity with Japan was, oh, we were in a war with them, and we don't know much about it. This was before that, like Japanese pop culture became popular in the U.S. This is before like anime and manga and like all of this Japanese culture really got shipped over. So I think this kind of sparked that. And it's interesting because, like, I don't know if you guys know the background of James Clavell, but he was in the war, and he was in, I'm pretty sure, a Japanese internment. Like, he was in a prisoner camp. He was a prisoner of war at this time. That's why he wrote this novel, but he also wrote, like, this is part of the whole Asian saga. So he wrote other books about other parts of Asia, and also he wrote a book that is pretty much his experience as a prisoner of war.
That's tight.
Yeah, so like he has background. He's, that's why he wrote this book, because he's been to that part of the world, and yeah. So I think this book had a pretty big influence at that time.
Holy shit! I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, I was just like reading Reddit threads and all that stuff, and I was curious about his background. And I was also looking at like the other books too in the series and wondering if we should read those or not, or
Yeah, let's just keep going.
I have one of them with me. but it's not in order.
What do you have?
I have Gaijin.
Gaijin. Yeah, I was gonna ask.
I heard that's actually one of the not as good ones.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
Taipan is supposed to be good.
I think let's
let's
not go full Japan after reading both of these books. We'll take a break.
Yeah,
that's a
fair,
good idea.
Fair.
I think that'll be fun.
I think we
Okay,
should go
guys.
full Japan.
All right.
Tight.
All right.
Till next week.
Cool. Good pod. Yeah.
All right.
Forever.
All right. Bye bye.